Okay, time for some airtime. Growing up as a boy, people tell you things that you can't possibly understand. It didn't take when I would be told all of these great gems until I actually became a man. And that means it didn't take until I actually experienced those things that they were telling me. The thing that I came to realize eventually is the reasons I could not understand them is because those men were trying to make my life good by helping me avoid or preventing me from experiencing all of that bad, all of that hard and difficult shit. When in fact, all that hard and bad and difficult shit is what made them who they are. They had to overcome that stuff. They had to overcome those things. They had to work through and persevere beyond all those difficult, all those seemingly impossible, uncomfortable things, situations and circumstances. Which then means them trying to prevent me from it was actually making me weaker, not stronger. It was actually dumbing me down, not wisening me up. They weren't raising me, they were lowering me. They just didn't know it. They also tried to give me good experiences that they had, that they enjoyed. And those experiences, no matter how good they worked in my life, they weren't enough. Because if you can't combine the good with the bad, you only know one side. And if you only know one side, what eventually tends to happen is you can only do one side of it. Translation: as long as things are going well, you're good. When things don't go well, you're stuck. I know. I remember my father and mother disagreeing with me experiencing hardships. My mother thought I was too young to do certain things. My father knew better. However, when my mother would be with me, she'd make me feel as if my father was somehow being too hard on me. That gives a child the impression that the father is abusive. And when the child doesn't want the hardships, even though he or she needs the lessons, they tend to then see daddy's actions or his teachings as mistreatment, as abuse. Well, what that does is then makes the child, myself, want to be with the mommy more. Why? Because mommy doesn't really put her foot down and push me to my limits. Extend my limits. Pushing me beyond my limits helps me to grow bigger, faster, stronger, more mindful, more capable, more culpable, maturing me. Instead, she wants it to stay easy and comfortable, keeping me immature. I didn't know this. Translation: all the good shit that my father was able to teach me and give to me, the reason he was able to teach it to me and give it to me is because there was a time where he didn't know and he had to learn. He was only trying to get me to do what he had to do, which means overcome all of my hardships. I know. In overcoming all of my hardships, I wouldn't need him. I'd be able to do all of it for myself. However, my mother thought my father was supposed to give me the money as opposed to the know-how. My grandmother, same shit. Give him the money over the know-how. You take care of him as opposed to teaching him to take care of himself, which is taking care of him. That is how we were reared. That is how we were lowered. That is how we were unmatured. Yes. Stunted. Then I was taught that it is a man's job to do this and that. And primarily who you hear say that shit are women. As if women know what men are supposed to do. If a woman doesn't even know what a woman is supposed to do, because women are not monoliths. They're not monolithic. Every woman does not have to be the same. If a girl does not know what a woman is supposed to do, how do girls and women then tell boys and men what men and fathers are supposed to do? I can tell you, because men who were unable to do at once upon a time started feeling themselves when they got to a point where they can do. And so they gave these false, blind realities, these fantasies of grandeur, arrogance and vanity to their wives and daughters to make themselves look and seem bigger than what they truly are, what they truly were. And that gave the wives and daughters false sense of reality, false expectations on society by way of preference. If I give you vain things and you feel good from those vain things, essentially what I'm doing is, I was on a road, so I had to get back to you. But like I was saying, essentially what you're doing, essentially what they were doing, is giving them a fantasy as opposed to reality. And that fantasy can only take you but so far. And it'll never take you through or to anything real, sufficient, with substance and value. But what do I know? I've only lived it and overcame it, just like I'm telling it to you. And the reason I can tell it to you is because I've lived it and overcame it. The bad and the good, the dark and the light. I've been to hell and back to heaven. What about you? Anywho, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and let's get the conversation started. I'd like to hear what you have to say on the matter. And until next time, man, time out.